Fantastic pendejo. No fantastic save. No fantastic Siggy. We're in the house. No smoking in the house. So, trying to figure out how to word this. So, I did not come across, my neighbor came across something that he ended up giving me as a gift. He came across a powered subwoofer. So, I know you see two of them there. It was the bottom one that he ended up giving me. These are both Acoustic Image. They're 10-inch subwoofers. So I didn't think anything of it. It was a gift. Who am I to bitch? It's free $99. So it came in a box. So I'm like, okay, fine. Another powered subwoofer. Took it, connected it, tested it, and it worked. I'm like, all right, fine. The intention was just to leave it in the garage. So I guess I have a little bit of bass in the garage. I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm curious. I want to know how this thing really reacts indoors. To my surprise, and no bullshit, the sub to me, is outstanding. Now, don't get your fucking panties in a bunch. This is not a Velandine or a Velodyne. This is not a $4,000 subwoofer. It is a 10. I was really impressed on its performance. I was impressed on how responsive it was and how low it can play. So I tested it, played with it. I'll show you the setup. So I believe, let me get closer so we can get an accurate. So I ended up buying this on Marketplace. I needed something for the house. Didn't want to bust the bank. They came, obviously, in a matching set. That's the actual stereo part. Okay, and that's where all the connections are at, all your RCAs. So I bought it for $75. Well, needless to say, I had to put another $75 into it to get the RCAs to work. Small fix, no biggie. So I only had these two. These only have two 6-inch subwoofers in them, and they play fantastic. I was pleased with it. I'm like, yeah. Well, just like with anybody, we like a little bit more bass. So when I was gifted this subwoofer, again, I brought it inside the house, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty impressive. So I inadvertently turned this up a little bit too much, and I believe I'm going to have to end up reconing this sub. There's a little bit of coil rub on it. It ended up, I was watching a movie, and needless to say, it had an over excursion, came down and came back up and crashed at the bottom of the plate. I fell in love with it. So, Manchild here. Say hello.
What's up?
So, Manchild here. We're both bass heads. What do I mean by that? So, our friends in the car audio industry, they're fanatics for car audios. I got buddies of mine that have 915s, 1212s, 1612s. We go to these shows. We're bass heads. We love bass. So my son and I get to thinking, if one sounded good, what about two of them? I said, So on Marketplace, yet again, I find another one. There's that brown one. So I believe the model number is an SW100. So I double checked on the brown one, and all it says is an SW100. The bottom one says SW100D. I don't know who this manufacturer is. I don't know where they came from. People are saying they're white van something. Needless to say, I can't find any information on it. I hooked two of these bad motherfuckers up. Holy fuck. You are talking about a true life theater experience. And again, if this is a white van special, these are the best white van special subwoofers I have ever used. Normally I was using KLH, again, because I beat on my stuff. I'm not going to sit there and spend $3,000-$4,000 on a subwoofer that I'm just going to fucking beat on and obliterate. And with the technology constantly changing, it makes no sense to go on ahead and move over to a $3,000 or $4,000 sub. Not my thing. So, after using the black one, I'm like, well, fuck it. Let me see if I can find another one. Lo and behold, I find another one. I wheel and deal. Man sells it to me for $60. I go to pick it up, bring it back to the house. So why am I in love with this subwoofer in particular? A lot of subs do have what they call daisy chain. They will have an input and an output. These in particular subs have that built in, an input, output. So it goes from my TV in there, out that sub, into that sub, out that sub, and into the receiver. I forgot the name of it, but I have this power strip. This power strip has individual switches on it. Oop, maybe not. That camera did not like that. Holy crap, hold on. Focus, you fuck. Here we go. So, sorry about that. So, with one flick of the switch, here, I fire all three of those units up. Again, just a little temporary fix. Until I go on ahead and rewire this section of the house so I have the adequate power so I can then run. Sorry about that when I switch cameras. So that I can then run my monsters. So I've had them for years, never got around to doing it, and needless to say, I wanted to go on ahead and make sure I have enough power here at this outlet, this in particular outlet over here, so I make sure that I have no issues. So the sub is pretty good. It's not a high excursion subwoofer. It's pretty impressive. If anybody has any information on it, I would greatly appreciate whatever information you can share. Share it. Again, I'm actually looking, like, no bullshit, I'm interested in 4 more. So no more than 4, preferably just 2, but no more than 4. I may go on ahead and try to get the brown one redone up. I've got a guy who does fabricating of kitchen cabinets and who does great in lamination, so I may have him redo that enclosure in a black lamination to match the other one. I do know that the gain button on that brown one has been broken off, but it's been broken off to the point where it left a little bit of a peg and it still allows me to adjust. So I may restore that. But again, I will embark on that later on. But if anyone has any information on these things, it'd be great to know. For it being, from what I hear, a white van special, or the cheap, it's garbage, and also for it being what it is, dude, you are talking about some very deep bass that comes out of these subwoofers. I'm also pretty impressed of the one thing that I've yet to hear out of the subwoofer, as much as I play my music and play these movies. Those are not aerial ports. So aerial ports, for some of you who don't understand, is your portholes are aerodynamic. These have slight aerodynamics to it. It's not much. It's very little. I will give it that. There's no whistling that comes out of this thing. I do feel at times when we're playing movies or listening to certain music, there is a boatload of wind coming out of that thing. And now that I have 2 of them, I can really feel the air coming in and out of that subwoofer enclosure. I did take the bottom woofer out just to kind of inspect it. To my surprise, it is very well constructed. It is not one of those boxes that is cheaply made. When they built the enclosure, they actually ran a board on the inside as a brace. So if I'm the subwoofer, that brace is right here in the middle of the subwoofer. So I'm pretty impressed. So again, if you guys got any information on it, man, share it. Do something. Share it with us. Share it with everybody. This is the video that I've been meaning to go on ahead and post. So sorry for taking so long, but that's my take on the Acoustic Image subwoofer. This is a 10-inch. So again, I believe it's SW100. That's what the brown one says, and they're both identically the same. The bottom one says SW100D. So again, maybe some markings might have moved away, but if you guys can help with some of this information, I'd appreciate it. Holla at your fucking boy.